All right, and we are live. Hopefully, Donna, you'll be able to see me. I've got 3 minutes left on the clock before I need to start my timer. If you can just let me know that you can see me, that'd be really good. Very good to be here. Today, we're doing something slightly different. I'm taking you behind the scenes of Build Your Core at ibgr.network. So we're streaming live on Facebook and also excellent, can be seen and heard. Thanks, Donna. She is amazing. I always, want to shout out, but anyway, it's all good. Thank you. So what we're doing is I'm just going to watch my clock, and we're going to have a couple of breaks throughout the show. So it's about 2.5 minutes. So I'll be still talking to you. If you've got any questions that you want to ask me in that 2 minutes, I'm pretty organized today. I've got everything open. I've got all my tools and my backup. So I'm looking forward to chatting to you from this, platform, and sharing with you what Build Your Core is all about. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock. And yes, just stay with me. If you want to, in the meantime, go and download the app, because the app will give you everything that you need. We've got show notes on there. You've got directory on there. It's like having the world in your pocket in terms of what you need for business. All right, we've got 1 minute and 38 seconds to go. I'm broadcasting from very windy Melbourne today. Don't know what's going on with the weather. I'm super confused. One day I'm walking around, without a jacket, and the next day I've got layers upon layers upon layers. Excellent. So we've got 1 minute left, 1 minute and 18 seconds, and we'll get the show rolling. So stay with me, grab a pen or a beverage, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy yourself, and I look forward to speaking to you in less than a minute. I'm jumping back. I've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I forgot about that bit. So I thought I'm going to show you something. So this is how I get myself ready, generally in whatever I'm doing, whether it's in my business or what I'm doing personal stuff. And I've got all these different hats that I generally use for workshops. So let's have a look. Okay. I've got this one, and I really felt today that I needed to have this one. This is my decisiveness hat. So I'm going to, so that obviously, that for me, that is something that I like to get myself in a state. Yes, and I've got, because for those of you who know about DISC, I'm a DI. So you can just imagine, and I'm through the roof. So maybe, and that's why I have a coach, so he can help me to manage and do that. So, whatever you do, I guess in the space that I get to work in, day out, my thing is that I help people play the best A game that they can play. So from the inside out. And little tricks like that help me to get in certain states. Now I'm just going to fill the time. So I hope that's okay. We've got 1 minute left, and then we'll get the show started, and we'll start getting into what we're discussing today. But before we do so, I'm going to mention it in the next segment anyway. Why I ibgr.network. And I just wanted to explain very quickly, this is a platform for entrepreneurs and built by entrepreneurs. That's why this is so special. We cover everything from startup to exit. So stay tuned. If you've just joined me, fantastic to have you here. I'm going to get ready to hit the record button, and then we'll get the show started in 18 seconds to be exact. Here we go. Three, two, one. Hello and welcome. Hello, world. Well, you're listening to the IBGR network, now known as the International Business Growth Radio Network, Profit Radio. And today we're doing something a little bit different. Well, I'm doing something a little bit different. We're coming to you not only via the radio, but also you can jump into Facebook or YouTube, where you can see my little setup behind the scenes. So the IBGR.network is your one-stop partner for everything business growth. So we provide insights that are useful, tools that work, and resources that will save you time and money, and make a financial impact on the business. Okay, I just got hang on. Maybe I should get rid of this one. Okay, so is that better, Donna? I'll just keep going. So today, welcome to this Thursday show, Build Your Core. I'm Sarita Johan, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour, broadcasting, as I said, from very windy down under Melbourne, Australia. And today is Thursday, and it's People Day. And at Build Your Core, our conversation is all about things all about people in business. And why join me here? Well, our aim is to equip you with ideas, best practices, and steps you can implement in your business so you can support that people journey. Because this stage of business is super exciting, but it's also a little bit, you can tear your hair out sometimes because you're evolving and hopefully doing less of the push-ups because you're starting to build those layers within your business. Now, the team at IBGR are certainly building something unique. We're having a global platform that is built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And I just checked in with Donna before, and the current country count is 149. When I started, it was a lot less, and we just keep growing. So I guess what that means is that there is a need for what we have on offer. So great to have you here. And as I mentioned, we're doing something a little bit different. And I wanted to start off with, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Steve Sweeney. He's actually joined the IBGR family, which I'm super excited about, because I think I've been talking to Steve for the last few months about this amazing radio show. And it never came to my mind to actually ask him whether he would be interested to become a host. So anyway, Steve is not only a great human, he's also an amazing trainer. And we met each other through BNI, and we were both in the, leadership team. And we used to run workshops together, and we would always have had a lot of fun. And I guess our highlight was that we got to MC the award session last year, we were just like the tech team. We were amazing. Anyway, we caught up for lunch, and we over a glass of rosé, overlooking the ocean, not to make you jealous, but that's what we did. And we talked about the show. And I was keen to get some tips and tricks because Steve is very engaging. He's got a way about going about things. And so I was asking him all these questions. So what could you do? How would you do it? And he just looked at me. And as I was talking about what really switches me on and lights me up, he said, look, Sarita, what we came to the conclusion was basically just be yourself. And I thought that was a really good tip. So, I think this is very important in business as well, because when we show up, and that's what we're talking about today, when we show up as our authentic selves, magic just happens. And as a business owners, we need to be who we can be. And it doesn't mean we can't develop, but it's important to show up as you. So that was a great tip by my colleague and friend, Steve Sweetie. Okay, so at this stage of your business, we're going to start scaling, and you will need people to do so. And not just people, we need the right people. So how do you get it right? Well, over the last 30 years, I've learned that there is no silver bullet. However, by employing a diverse group of people that are hired for their unique talents and skills, you can have really amazing impacts and help you to get you on your journey of growth in your business. Because investing in people is going to be probably one of the biggest investments that you will make. And it will take time and resources to get people to come with you on their journey. So when you have people that operate, that's what I've really, I guess, taken away over the last 30 years. When you have people really operate from their strengths and understanding the roles that they are required to play, which both are critical for business success, I think you would agree with that, something magical happens. It really does. And I love this quote from Jack Welch that states, before you were a leader, it was about really growing yourself. But now that you are a leader, it's about growing others. And I think there's no true word said. And it's clear that without people in our business, whether it's internal or external, we don't have a business. I think we can agree on that as well. So knowing what you need and want is key to have an aligned, and you need to have an aligned, solid plan. So if you listened to me before, you know that I talk about achieving a win-win-win situation. So win for you as the business owner, win for your people, but of course, ultimately win for your clients. Now, what do I do very quickly? Because this is not about me, this is about you. I help business owners and their teams play their A game from the inside out. That's virtually it. And if you want to find out more, go to my website and you can read up on how I came to do what I'm doing today. But I think my specialty has become really about creating clarity and improving communication and helping people find the confidence in their business and also the people that are in their teams. So my aim through Build Your Core is to share everything I know with you about my people journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I know firsthand that it's not easy, and I want to help you succeed. Okay, so let's get the conversation started. We would love to hear from you live. I've put myself out here today so you can see me, but I would love to hear from you. If you're listening to us live or one of the recordings, you can always connect and interact with us on social media. We're everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And just type in IBGR Network. We've made it really easy for you. And you can also, of course, download the app. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But that is the ultimate, because you've got everything together, which includes the show notes. So that will make it a bit easier to follow what we're talking about today. So this is episode 10 in our People Lane at ibgr.network. And today we're talking about the richness in diversity. And as you continue to build the people part of your business, you now have a mission, a vision, you've got a strategy. As we said, we want to keep inviting people into your business that are going to help you actually get there. So we're going to have a look at, in the last 9 shows, we've looked at how we are connecting the dots. So we've looked at core values, we've looked at standard operating procedures. We've also had a look at, yes, Don, and join the IBGR community as well. So we are basically, the whole season 3 has been around those building blocks that will help you to get really set up for that next level of your next stage of growth. And in everything that we do need to consider the operational excellence, the leadership, and of course the client experience. So if this is your first time listening, welcome. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. It's great to have you here with me. And a question I get asked from people that I know that I've been sharing this journey with is, why do we listen to IBGR? Well, it's really simple, because we are here to see you succeed, and we have all the insights to help you to make that happen. Now, let's have a look at what we're talking about today. So we've just looked at leadership. We know what we are now in the stage of developing others, and it is important that we have not only the structures, but we also have, I guess, the emotional intelligence part in the business that we can build from. Because what we want to achieve is we want to create that clarity, confidence, communication, and commitment. I call that the 4 C's, and I work with that a lot because that needs to be at the forefront of your business. And the key to successful individual excellence lies in the combination of a person's behavior, the values, and personal skills. So we're going to touch on that a little bit. I've got a couple of stories that I want to share on that, and a really great article that I posted on LinkedIn that if you can make some time, check it out. And like I mentioned before, in the last 9 shows, we really have been working on those building blocks from values to clear expectations. Now, from an owner's perspective, that's what we're focusing on today. We're going to look at 4 areas. The first one is the individual performance requires individual treatment, and team performance requires team treatment. Now, we're also going to have a look at the leadership styles, because all leadership styles are driven by the behaviors of others. It's a very interesting topic to get into. And our evaluation of behavior is by task, and it could be just a snapshot. You might see something happen and you've got a view on that, but it's not an overall assessment. So we need to be really cautious about that. And then we want to have a look at, we need to get people trained and developed. I'm going to touch on a book by Daniel Goleman and Richard Boysatis and Annie McKee. Maybe I haven't said it right, but that talks about the 6 leadership styles. So in a minute, we're going to take a short break. And when we get back, we're going to have a talk about what you need to know. And if you've got any questions, feel free to either, if you haven't got the app, you can go to our website. You will find a pulsating orange question mark where you can leave any questions or comments. Feel free to engage with us there. And at the moment, you have been listening to episode 10 in the People Performance Lane on IBGR International Business Growth Radio Network. I'm Sarita Johan. And as I mentioned, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about what you need to know. I'm going to be sharing some really cool articles, one in particular, from Dan Price in terms of his leadership, which was, I would say, quite innovative and very left field, but yielded some amazing, amazing results. So stay with me, get relaxed, comfortable wherever you are in the world. Sit back, and I'll see you soon on the other side of this break. Okay, so that was our first segment. Now I'm going to have a quick little sip. Now, if you have any comments or you've got something that you would like to share, then please do so. Yes, Donna, it is always an inside-out job, isn't it? And it's really interesting when this is a funny thing, right? We've got a little bit of time. We've got until 17:30. So this is interesting when so often when I get asked by people to come in and talk to them about their business. So I remember I had this client in Sydney, and if he's listening, he probably here understands, he will know who I'm talking to. And he was referred to me. And when I came to visit him, I remember he had given me about 20 minutes in his calendar. We spent at least an hour, if not longer, talking about all sorts of things. And by the end of it, he asked me whether I was, willing to, or no, actually he didn't ask me. He said, okay, so can you work? Can you do the work? And I remember thinking, well, I'm not here yet, I don't think, to work with the entire team. I think I need to work with you first. And he was really taken back by that comment. But what I have experienced in my business life is that people, whatever their issue is or whatever their challenge is, it's not always that is going on. And sometimes we just need to get a little bit lower in that space and do a little bit of digging and find out what is actually going on and how we can then, I guess, support that person on their journey. So yes, Donna, it is absolutely an inside-out journey. And I know you work in that space as well. And it's such a rewarding thing when people actually, and I guess that's what the conversation I had with Steve was around, being yourself, be yourself. Everybody else is taken. I thought, yeah, I say that to my clients. How did I not remember that? but that's what that's what can happen. We sometimes get caught up in our own little world, in our own reality, and that's the reason why I still have a coach, being a coach myself. So I'm going to take a little sip and a little breath, if that's okay, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Stay with me. Oh, it's nice to have a little bit of hydration. Okay. Oops, where's my cursor? Let's do this. We're going to segment 2. And we're back. Welcome for segment 2 of our hour together. You are listening to Ibgr.network, and Ibgr is our call sign as a radio station. But we are so much more than a radio station. We are a network. And I'm your host, Sarita Johan, and this is episode 10 in our People Lane of season 3. And I just can't believe how quickly time goes. Don't even get me started on Christmas. We're not going there. And today's episode is called The Richness in Diversity in terms of our people. You can listen live at ibgr.network 24/7. And really, this is your place for resources, for support, answers to all your business questions at all stages of business growth. And it is really, whether you're starting, growing, or exiting your business, you will find it at IBGR Network. And we are so blessed that we've got such an amazing group of people being connected to the 2 founders of the radio station that is providing this platform for entrepreneurs, built by entrepreneurs. It's extremely unique. Anyway, a little plug there, because I guess I'm always quite still very excited to be part of this community. All right, so on that, the reason for you to consider in becoming part of this community is that we, as I mentioned, we cover everything off, okay? Now, and the way we do it, it's been put together really well. So there is something for everybody. We have what we call a balanced scorecard. And each day we have a different focus. So on Monday, we talk all things finance. On Tuesday, operations. On Wednesday, customers. And on Thursday, which is today, my favorite day, all things people. And on Friday, that is the executive lane. And this is where you are now the CEO of your business and you are working on your business. So this particular show is for people that are finding themselves in that stage 3, 4. So you've got consistent revenue and you're now looking at expanding and really getting to that next level, that hockey stick growth that is awaiting you, because your hard work is starting to pay off and you're doing less of the push-ups, right? So what I mentioned in the first segment is I wanted to have a quick look at Daniel Goleman's book that he co-wrote. And it talks about the emotional leadership styles. And as a business owner, it's really important that we have an understanding of ourselves, so self-leadership. And if you're looking for a little bit more depth, then I would highly recommend this book. It's been fantastic. I use it quite a bit. And what they talk about is they have, and you will find it, I think I've put it in the show notes, I'm not sure, but if I haven't, I'll put it on my Facebook group. But we're looking at the 4 styles that actually promote harmony and positive outcomes. And then we'll look at 2 styles that can create tension and should be used very specifically. So the 4 ones that actually create those positive outcomes are all around the coaching, the affiliative, democratic, but also authoritative. The other 2 styles are what we call the pace setting and the coercive. So they're more with force. And I was talking to one of my clients yesterday in regards to that. And I said, sometimes we need to make decisions and we can't be collaborating, and sometimes things need to happen. And the story that comes to mind is Winston Churchill's story when he was sent out into the battlefield. And that type of leadership was absolutely necessary in that time. But when things turned back to normal, his leadership style was no longer effective. So it's about understanding when to tap into what. And Goleman and his co-authors say that no one style should be used all the time. We should be knowing about them and which one fits us. It's like the hat that I've got, which hat do you fit on? Which one is required for a particular situation within your business? So in summary, the style you adapt to will often be in response to the behaviors of others. Okay, so once you understand that, you can start leading from a much easier, with much more ease, I guess. So let's have a look at those key. I just wanted to throw that in because I think, it's a really solid book for us to get into as a business owner. So we're going to unpack some of the key issues that we discussed in our first segment. And we'll take a look at the first 3 points and how we can work best. So we're going to look at individual performance, requires individual treatment, and all leadership styles are driven by the behaviors of others. So what do we need to know? Well, when it comes to those critical success factors of an individual, it is important to understand people's behaviors. And many of on our talent, we talk about different assessment tools that are available, but it does give us such a good insight and fast tracking some of our results as well. So if we understand people's, I guess, adaptive and natural behavioral styles, if we understand what drives and motivates them, we can actually make some adjustments along the way rather than having to be reactive. We can actually see what is going on. And this deeper understanding really allows you to build your business, I guess, more effectively as well, and clear the noise out of the business. For the individuals, we also want to understand what inspires them into action, what motivates them. And it's so often when I talk to business owners where I ask them about certain people that are causing them some grief and say, so what is it that they, what inspires them? And you know how often they can't tell me. And it's just asking simple questions to understand, because then we can influence in a certain way. The, one shoe fits all is just, in those circumstances, it's not going to work. So we need to find alternative ways to help us influence and create results. Now, the other thing is, are you clear on what people's personal talents and skills are? What is their ability? What is the skill and competence? Do you know what they are? Did you actually know that we all have 77 natural talents and skills? Now, the way that works is that, where do we pay attention and where do we have clarity? But in knowing that would be like having a roadmap, like going inside of your team, knowing where to go and how to develop. Pretty useful knowing that stuff. Okay, so what we need to know for a team, I guess, so those are the 3 things that's very much about the individual. What we need to know for a team to get team performance is team treatment. And I talked about that a couple of episodes ago where we looked at those OKRs, objective key result areas, and having those 4 layers in place of organizational goal, the management, the team, and then the personal. So once we have that in place, it's much easier to communicate what we need to the entire group and have it trickle down from the top down. So when it comes to those critical success factors of a team, I've broken it up in 4 areas. So clarity and communication. So that's what we're going to jump into right now. And then we're going to have a look at the confidence and how that actually takes place. So with the clarity piece, those 4 layers are really important. How are we communicating it? I was talking to one of my clients I've been working with for a very long time, and we've had massive growth within their business. And somewhere along the way, I guess the message has gotten lost. People are doing a lot of things, but they're not doing it with the end in mind. So they have lost the view of where this is actually going. And what that creates is disruption. And so now we have identified, which is great because now we can do something about it. But it's important that throughout that whole, I guess, evolution that we're going through, the changes that are occurring within your business, that we have those layers and that we check in. It's like the customer journey. We have touch points that we need to be aware of and making sure that we're not dropping off, and that we can, if we are, that we can get back on track. It's not linear. I think you all know what I'm talking about. The road to success or the road to growth is not linear. It comes with those little speed bumps that we sometimes bang our heads against the roof. But if we have those layers really clearly identified, then we can keep referring back to them. In terms of the second point of what we need to know is the communication. How effective are we in our communication? And a really good way of checking in with that is the feedback loop. And I use this all the time in meetings where, people come in and we have a meeting and everybody's excited and then we walk away. And I always ask them two questions. And one of them is, so tell me, what are the two things you're taking away from this, or what have you understood to be this meeting about? And I just get people around the table to give me like a 20-second, and I guess that's a little bit out of my BNI days, just checking feedback, because then we know whether people have actually received. Because as humans, we have this filtering system. We will take what we want and we will filter out what we don't want. So it's good to be aware of that. As I mentioned before, I'd love to have you connect with me real time. I mean, I'm here now. You can ask me questions. If you're looking to this recording later on, that's fine. You can still put some questions in the IBGR box and we will make every attempt to get back to you. And because, again, at IBGR, we are aiming to give you as much as we possibly can. We're giving you our knowledge, our expertise. But if there's anything in particular that you need, we're here to help. And if you, again, haven't downloaded the app, you can visit the website, look out for the pulsating orange question mark, and just leave a question or comment in there. And the other thing I wanted to mention is just highlighting it again, I guess, is that we are broadcasting 24/7 in 4 different market segments around the world. It's incredible. So why don't you go and check out that calendar on the ibgr.network and find out your favorite shows. As I mentioned in the first segment, or the second, I can't remember now. There is something for everybody, from startup to exit. And why don't you make an appointment, put it in your calendar with yourself to listen, apply, and engage. So we're going to take a very short break. And when we return, so we're going to segment 3, we continue to look at the other 2 areas, what you need to know about. And yeah, I want to share that article of Dan Price. So again, if you have got a pen and paper, grab it, sit back, relax, just like I'm doing. I'm super relaxed now. And I look forward to chatting to you on the other side. This is Build Your Core, episode 10, the richness in diversity at IBGR.network, Profit Radio. I'm Sarita Johan, and I'm super stoked to have you here with me, and we'll be back after a very short break. Oh, I forgot that you can still hear me. Oh, very good. Okay, so we are going to take a little break because that's what I normally do when we have the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I just go, okay. So I just wanted to talk. Maybe we can just talk about my hats just to keep it going. And then I will have a 30-second little break. Yes, so this is probably my favorite one. This is where I find myself most of the time. So being very decisive, fast-paced, and that's what sometimes trips me over as well. It's interesting because over the years, when I was still working in a corporate environment, my behavioral style was actually quite different. And since I've started my own business, my behavioral style changed. My values definitely changed. And I guess where my attention, balance, and clarity was changed as well. I call that my ABC. And with the assessment tool that I work with, it is based on, and if you're interested, check it out. It's based on the work of Dr. Robert Hartman, who was into axiology. It's a little bit of a big topic to go into now, but he has somehow been able to really identify. So we look at the world of work and the world of inner, and how those two combine with our values and our behavioral styles, what that actually creates. And what I mentioned just before in the, I guess, natural talents and skills, if let's say you were to have someone in your organization where common sense was really didn't have a lot of clarity, that could become a problem in your business that you might not find out about until much later. Anyway, just a little insight. I can talk underwater, you know. It's a good thing that we've got a time clock and we've got a script. I don't know why it doesn't actually show me because I'm not on a green screen. That's something weird. This is a green head, by the way. So this is my stability head. Sometimes I can be, I can't believe that I don't know what's going on. And then the yellow head, of course, that's the, interactive, interpersonal, loving to be around people. Love being around people. That's, I guess, but interestingly enough, we've got 18 seconds. Actually, I'll come back to that later. I'm not going to dispose now. All right, let's get ready for segment 3. And we're back. We're back for segment 3. You're listening to the Ibgr.network, and Ibgr is our call sign as a radio station. But we are so much more than a radio station. We are a network. And I'm your host, Sarita Johan, and this is episode 10 in our People Lane at Ibgr.network. And what we're talking about today is the richness in diversity. I would love for you to go to our app because that's where you will have access to all the tools and resources that you need. And you will also find your show notes. So if you've just tuned in, not a problem. Just go to the show notes and you can easily follow where we are at. We're talking about what you need to know. And it's weird because I actually don't feel like Christmas at all. I don't know about you, but it is, it is almost Christmas. And I guess I wanted to, I know Donna and Bill do so much behind the scenes, and I wanted to promote their welcome gift that they've got if you join the Ibgr.community. So when you go there, you can get access to the complete 6 volume set of business growth strategies. It's an ebook series. And what we always say, information is only as useful as the understanding of the reader. So if you become a member of our community, you will get access to the people that have actually written the ebook. How good is that? They're all successful business owners, and we are, they're here on Air Talent. We're waiting to help you to grow, and let's get your business going and come into the community. That's where you'll find everything. Okay, so the 2 remaining things that we want to look at in the what you need to know is around confidence and commitment. And I recently watched a documentary on Netflix. On Netflix. Almost said it wrong again. On Netflix, and it's called The Story of the Beginning of Life. If you haven't watched it, I would highly recommend for you to go through it, because one of the things that I often experience when working with business owners or their teams is the bit that we talked about just before, the clarity and communication. Over time, we hit those little speed bumps and we might bang our head a couple of times, and it can rattle our confidence. And in the documentary, there was that probably impressed me the most. There was this part where it's all about the beginning of life and how children develop in different, I guess, parts of the continent in the world. And this particular part was about this little boy and a Japanese family in Osaka. And when they turn 3, they have this, I don't know whether it's for everybody, but in this case, it was for this little boy, this initiation where they help them build the confidence. And the thing that they are required to do is and can you imagine Osaka, so busy. I've never been to Japan, but I've watched it on TV. So the idea is that this little boy goes down the street to the sushi shop, wherever he needs to go, and needs to go there and pick up food for his family. So here's this little boy walking down the street, traffic lights, people everywhere, and he's so small. He's only 3 years old. Anyway, you can see him like he's a bit, in the beginning, a little bit hesitant, but then he gets into his flow and he starts becoming a little bit more confident, and he's skipping now, and he goes into this little tunnel until he reaches his destination, and that is where he picks up the sushi. And then you see him doing the journey back to his flat where he's living with his family. And it's incredible the shift in confidence that has taken place. I don't know how long he was outside, but the journey that he went through in terms of building confidence. And I guess this is what happens in life. We get knocked around, you fall 6 times and you need to get up the 7th time. But how do you manage that? And as business leaders, we need to be aware of that those things can happen to our team, and how do we help them? I love Stephen Covey's Speed of Trust, because we can see, and I see this in organizations all the time, when there is low trust, there is a higher expense. There is, it's slower delivery. When there's high trust, there is, better output, and there is absolutely momentum within the business because they've got that trust. So it's really important to keep an eye on that. So that's what you need to know when you are looking at getting that diversity in your business, and also knowing when to pick up on what needs to be rectified at the right time. And then I guess the fourth bit of what you need to know is the commitment. What are the commitment levels in your business? And how do you know if your team, if it's required to, will go that extra mile for you? Is that in your culture? Is that alive at this time and moment? And the article that I was referring to before was from Dan Price. And I'm just going to read it because I'm just going to read a little bit of it, because I think it makes it's a really great, I guess, example of leadership. And if you want to read the full article, go to my LinkedIn, Sarita Johan, find me there, and you'll see the article. That actually had lots of people reading it because it's so powerful. So he talks about the year 2020 was rocky. Millions of people were laid off, and that the pain might continue in the near future. What he did, so in 2015, he actually made some waves when he took $1 million pay cut to institute a $70,000 minimum wage for his employees. So I'm just reading this verbatim, right? So he isn't the kind of boss who's quick to do layoffs. That's just not within what he believes to be working for his business. But he was feeling the pressure this year, and his company, Gravity Payments, processes credit card payments for more than 20,000 small businesses. So you can just imagine small businesses got hit really hard. So his revenue disappeared, and they were losing $1.5 million a month. So he was, he went like, what do I do next? And he's got a team of 200, so it's not a small business. And he explained it to his team that they were in trouble. And, he said, what do we do? And they offered a solution. And instead of layoffs, they went like, okay, let us anonymously volunteer for pay cuts. And Price was saying, I thought it was crazy. But then when it was actually taking place, his team volunteered nearly $500,000 a month of their salaries. And some offered their total pay, but he capped it. He went like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to cap it. So he was confident enough. Well, obviously the people were confident enough. They had that commitment. They were wanting to go that extra mile, because I guess his leadership had displayed, and he would, the diversity in his business with the people that he's got allowed them to go, okay, how do we do this together? How do we do this as a team? And they went that extra mile, which meant for the business that they were able to continue to trade. And what he talks about is that it extended our runway to somewhere between 6 and 12 months by that action. And by late summer, he was confident enough in Gravity's future that he paid back all the employees. Now, that is really true leadership. That is something that, but you need to have that culture already. You can't just switch it on and switch it off. And that's why we need to know where we need to focus our attention, where we need to have attention, our balance and our clarity, so that we can, this is a beautiful story of someone in business that I guess took a different route to what many of other businesses wouldn't have considered, because perhaps they didn't think it through. There's only maybe one way in their mindset. When I was teaching at the Inside Academy, which is an institute for international students, I was teaching innovative leadership. And these were the sort of things, and these are young people basically studying in Australia. And they came up with some of the most amazing ideas in terms of innovation in leadership. And that is what's going on. I think that's what this year has really shown us, that, there's not just one way. We need to be creative, we need to be innovative, and we need to get our people to come on board with us. And one of the ways that we can do that is by understanding and, those 4 C's, really making sure that that is visible within the business. So great article. Dan Price, what was his business again? Just let me think. Gravity Payments. Amazing. Okay, we're just about to take another short 2-minute break. And when we return, we will conclude with segment 4. And this is where we will look at some of the ideas and best practices that you can consider to have, to implement into your business. If it resonates with you, as always, as I always mention, there are a set of ideas. And in the meantime, join the community of commerce. It's located on our website under the Join Us tab, and it's a free business-only social network. It's similar to others out there, but this one is owned by IBGR, and that's what makes it so super cool. And you can connect to business owners on there, and as well as our on-air talent. And it's global, so lots of opportunity. And we just love to continue the conversation with you. So you've been listening to Build Your Core. And we're talking about the diversity, richness in diversity, almost got it wrong, at the IBGR.network, International Business Growth Radio Network. And when we get back, we will have a look at segment 4. We are going to dive into, I've actually finished off a little bit too early. So why don't we have a chat about all this amazing on-air talent? I normally do that at the end of the show, but after my show, we are going to continue to talk about people, because after all, it is People Day. And we've got Lisa Esquith. So I'm just plugging her now because she is absolutely amazing. And I guess that's the other thing. For myself, I listen to IBGR.network all the time. My daughter even says to me, Mom, are you listening again? And I go like, yeah, because I believe that we will never stop learning. We will always hear things in a different way. And we need to continue to develop ourselves on this crazy journey of entrepreneurship. And so if you want to learn, come and join us. We're here for you. We're going to take a short break in exactly 10 seconds. So don't go away. I look forward to chatting to you some more. Okay, right. I should actually play a little song. So if anyone is listening, I know Donna is. Donna, what is your favorite song? Maybe we should have a little boogie. It has bricks on the green head. I don't know what was going on because I don't have a green screen. So yeah, the head thing, right? Okay, never mind. So what is I actually have a playlist that I use. So when I was doing a lot of workshops, which has been more online now, I used to have a song to just get the energy going and flowing within, I guess, within the group. I did click on stop, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. It says I'm disconnected, so that's good. Imagine if I wasn't. You probably wouldn't hear me anyway because it would be going over all the breaks. Yes, so because energy is really, I guess, important. Before we went into the third segment, I was talking about, self-leadership and people coming to me with certain ideas or thinking that certain things are happening or that there are certain issues, but that it often comes back to that inside our job and how we are, how aware we are of ourselves. And I guess that's such a game changer. And I remember in my journey, I thought I was very self-aware and it turned out I wasn't. And that was that was not easy to, I guess, digest, but it allowed me a new opportunity to expand and having a look at, what else is out there. rather than just being, okay, well, I'm not accepting of that. And yeah, it's changed my life forever. This whole journey of, I guess, growing and finding new ways, and being here at IBGR, just, again, learning every day, inspired by all these amazing people that are on air with all the same mission. It's pretty freaking amazing. And I have experienced this before with BNI, but it's just so nice to see that there is more of that out there, rather than less. Okay, we've got 30 seconds. And then we go to segment 4, which will be the last segment. This has been fun. I like fun. I need to do more fun. Okay, here we go. 12 seconds. You're the best, Donna. Okay, here we go. And welcome back. You are listening to the IBGR.network, and IBGR is our call sign as a radio station. And as I always say, we all say it, we are more than a radio station. We are a network. Yes, that we are. And we are a team as well. I'm your host, Sarita Johan, and all the way from down under Melbourne, where it's very windy here today. And you're listening to episode 10 in our People Lane at IBGR.network. And we're talking about the richness in diversity today. Now, if you just tuned in, not a problem at all. You can, if you haven't done so already, you can go to our app and open the show notes so you can see exactly what we've been talking about. Or if you haven't downloaded the app yet, not to worry either, because you can still visit us at ibgr.network, which is our website, and you can download the show notes from there. We would also love, and today is a little bit different for the broadcast that I'm bringing to you, because we're also live on Facebook and YouTube. So you can have a little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes. You can also connect with us in real time during the show. Would love for you to ask me questions, connect with us, bring some of your issues. Love to workshop. That's one of the things that we're looking for in season 4, to have more interaction with you, the listener, because we want you to be able to walk away and go like, or if you have a problem that you're a bit stuck with, then you've got all these amazing, I think we've got over 45 on-air talent hosts that have got certain expertise that you can tap into. So again, if you go to the website, you will see the pulsating orange question mark. You can click on that and just share any comments or ask questions below. Great. So in segment 4, what we're going to look at is ideas for best practice. And I've split it up in the individual and as well as the how with teams. So this is really about the how. So when we looked at what you need to know, we looked at things around the individual is unique. So when we do individual performance, we need to look at the individual. And really interesting, it always seems to happen that way, that before I get ready for the show, I will have a conversation with either a client or a colleague where we seem to be talking about the particular subject that might be in the show. That always gives me some new ideas. And in this particular case, this client, they've got a team from around probably 100, 120 people within their business, all at very different, in different areas. And again, massive growth. And the team has really, I guess, consolidated, in particular in this difficult year. And they've been absolutely amazing. And we were talking about, okay, so what's next for our team? What do we need to do next? And up until now, they've had like these massive growth spurts, right? With people, employing, all that sort of thing. But now they've got their team really well established. So what is the next step? And he mentioned something, and I just loved it. And I thought that is such a good way of looking at it. And he says, the way I explained it to the team, because we were talking about 1%ers, right? And what is it that we need to do right now? We need to make sure that we've got those incremental 1%ers right, and that we tweak them. And he said to me, it's like playing a computer game, right? And I knew exactly what he was talking about, because I love Tetris. So, and you just want to get better. So you get to a level and then it's like, yes, I got there. And then you get to the next level and you want to get to the next level. But it doesn't change a lot. Like first, you obviously need to understand the game, so you need to start to get to know it. But once you're unconsciously competent, you just do it. But it's those little bits and pieces that will make the difference. So I guess back to how that ties back to the individual, it's if we gain the understanding of people's strengths in the world of work, right? And when we look at the world of work, you will look at things like, in the way that I describe it is in how people connect, how people are motivated by doing things, and how systematically they are able to create, I guess, order out of chaos, or how they can let go, how they can delegate. So all these things, if we have the inside knowledge on that, it gives us a really good, I guess, opportunity to create this skill set map or roadmap of your resources within your team. So gaining those understanding, and however you do it, again, as I mentioned, whether you get an external coach in to help you with that, or whether you have an assessment tool that you prefer to use, but have something that is, I guess, outside of you. So we don't, I guess, make judgment on how biased we are. So that's the first bit with individuals. The second bit is building and providing an environment of trust and safety. It was another client a few weeks ago. They've had quite high staff turnover. And when we were talking about it, every time someone leaves, it's like, oh, well, it's probably for the best, she wasn't great or he wasn't great or whatever it was. And then once that person left, people would go to their manager and go like, oh, yeah, no, And I asked them the question, I said, why did that happen? Why is it so that you're here after the fact? Why do you think people don't come to you during the actual it happening? And it really got them to think, because what it allowed us to do is to have a look at, do our people actually trust us as, probably trust us, but do they feel safe when they're coming forward with information that could save us a lot of headaches and a lot of time in our business when it comes to our people? So spending time and investing time on providing a trust environment and safe place is really important. The third bit, and I guess that comes through in everything that we talk about in season 3, is the regular communication, the regular reviews with the individuals, and asking good questions. I remember moving to Australia in 95, and I was so impressed, and I've mentioned this before, I was so impressed that everybody was asking me how I was, only to find out that people were not actually interested in whether I was great or not. And this poor girl at calls one day, she had to cop it, because when she asked me how I was, I gave her a full download that I'd had a miserable day. But in our businesses, we need to ask the right questions. Just saying, hey, how are you? And then getting a response. In Australia, you hear a lot like, not too bad, okay. What does it actually mean? We need to ask better questions. So that could be like, okay, so tell me about your week. And then they start telling you, and all of a sudden, all these things come up that could be red flags and could really, I guess, help us to navigate them to a different outcome or give them some extra support, whatever that might be. So those regular reviews, they need to, you need to allow the intention and making sure that you know what you're looking for and asking good questions. Now, from a perspective of the team, it's not very dissimilar, but it is around that communication at a team level, setting those team goals, making sure it trickles down from the top down, encouraging collaboration. That's the second part. And how do we do that? In particular, when you've got a very new team, we need to create and build that trust. And ways that you can do that is by organizing team building activities, providing training, so invest in an external trainer to come out on a specific topic that would allow them to, really step up, or even getting a coach in to help you specifically with certain areas that you might not have the expertise in. And what it does for the, I guess, team is to really feel that they are being taken seriously and that they are, that they've got the option to thrive. And the third one is ties back into the first one, the third one in the individuals, is give and ask for feedback. Now, this is a tricky one, because people say, oh, give me feedback. I really like it, but it has to be constructive. And then they get the feedback and then go like, okay, I actually don't really enjoy that. So we need to find a way that fits. And sometimes we just have to give it. But I guess if you know the individuals well, if you know how to communicate what drives and motivates them, it just becomes a lot easier. But that feedback might just be the difference between having to push that boulder up the hill versus you being able to just, navigate through it a little bit smoother. So give and ask feedback is really, really important. So in summary, because we're almost at the end of our show, there's an incredible power in having diversity in your business from a skill set point of view, from an experience point of view. And that article that I was just sharing with you, Dan Price, if you want to have the full article, go to my LinkedIn page, you will find it there. And I guess, at the end of the day, it's remembering that it's progress over perfection. At this stage, when we start developing our people to that certain level, it is going to be about those 1%ers. And it's great potential for your business and team, a confident, thriving team in your business, delivering excellent outcomes for your clients. To me, that sounds like a great win-win-win. So very quickly, before we close off, I'm still offering the 20-minute complimentary power chat. So if you want to take advantage of that, go down to my show notes, click on the link and book it in. I would love to help you get set up for 2021. I trust this show has provided you with something to think about. I've had a lot of fun today. Leave us some feedback, what you liked, and also what you would like to know more about, or you want me to bring into the actual show. We'd love to have you as part of our community. And next week, we're going to talk about autonomy, the key to people excellence. So as I mentioned, when I was filling up some time, Lisa Asquith is next on with her show, which is called Engaging Your People of Success. So she'll continue to talk on from where I've left it off. And her aim is to ensure that, you've got the right people and practices to get you there by providing a people-centered approach. Absolutely love it. Thank you for listening in and for the download so far. Much appreciated. I'm here for you. If you want to stay updated, why not subscribe as well? You can get our recorded podcast by going to the link there. We're on all the major platforms. And remember, stay well, stay fabulous. Wishing you a great day wherever you are, or night or afternoon. And I look forward to continuing the conversation next week at Build Your Core, episode 11. So we've only got 2 shows left. And I see you then. Stay safe. Okay, we're done. I was doing it again. Well, it was great to be there, Donna. Thank you for your support. I'm assuming that I just end the broadcast. Until next week.